And obviously, our attention has been on the moves we've seen in the Chinese bond market, the Chinese stock market. Can China tackle leverage while maintaining some sort of decent growth rate?
I think so, but I think it's important how we characterize the deleveraging campaign. Broadly deleveraging generally means that you're lowering the debt to GDP ratio or corporate debt to GDP ratio. But in fact, in China's case, it's not necessarily broader deleveraging. It's very targeted at the financial sector. They're trying to reduce leverage within the financial sector, trying to reduce interbank lending between financial institutions, and while trying to still continue to increase and push credit to the real economy. So it's very, very targeted on especially speculative activities within the financial sector. Broad deleveraging is, I think, something that China has not really approached yet.
But each time China's tightened policy, Alexander, often that's led to slower growth, then it changes course. Why is this time any different?
Well, that's, I think, one of the biggest questions facing 2018. Yeah, you're right. In the past, where they have implemented largely well-meaning reforms, whether it was around local government finances, around fiscal reform, or even tried to tighten credit, generally growth responded on the downside, and they would often reverse those policies that were put in place. I think fiscal reform and tightening local government finances is probably the best example, where they've tried that in the past, whether it was in 2016 or even earlier this year, and where growth responds on the downside, they seem to back off a bit. So I think going into next year, growth will slow. I think that's pretty much a foregone conclusion on the back of some of the policies that put in place. But how they respond when that happens, if growth is below their comfort level and they roll back some of the reforms, or they hold steady and allow for slower growth, that's one of the bigger question marks, and I think where there's a lot of debate around China for next year.